Well, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is some kind of distillery. We're not distilling. I would actually say at the moment we're decanting. So a bit like the process of dealing with a fine wine and filtering it through some very fine fabric. You won't be able to see much in there. You see the reflection of my flashlight. That is 4 litres of white vinegar. So the beginning of this process was quite simply shaking it and sort of poking around in the where the tank sender and the hanger for the fuel pump go, and just trying to get big lumps out. So what you'll see in this area is all that dark stuff is what came out the tank. I'm kind of using this as a way of collecting it all. Once you've got, okay, so this tank was about, let's say 15-20% full of all that gunk. It wasn't dry like sand. It stinks to high heaven. It's very varnishy. If you do not wear gloves, and I've cleaned these once already, actually that hand looks like how my hands looked the first time. It will varnish your hands, and you don't want that because it's very difficult to get off. So and you can't use your normal sort of medical type gloves because they will instantly disintegrate upon sight of petrol, gasoline or similar. So these are chemically resistant gloves, and they certainly do the job. Now, once I got a lot of the large bits out and I was kind of getting to the point where nothing more, I wouldn't say nothing more was coming out, it was slowing down. I wanted to then get into something with liquid, not water, but something a bit stronger. And I have 2 stages of liquid. One of them is white vinegar, so 4 litres in there, and all I do is I swill it about in there, I then pour it into here, and then I decant it back in again, and then I will empty the tub, empty my decanter, and rinse and repeat until, and this hasn't happened yet, until I'm not getting much out. But this is probably the 10th iteration and it's still coming out. What I will do after that is I will use MEC, was it methyl, ethyl, ketone, which is apparently very good for removing varnish, and this is very much a kind of varnish. So I shall do the same kind of procedure. I don't want to waste my liquids. I don't want to be throwing away, litres and litres and gallons of this kind of unfriendly to, well, vinegar's not that unfriendly, but MEC is not very nice, and whatever's in here is not very nice. So I want to try and minimize wastage with all of this, and I want to get to the point where I can then throw in baking soda and water to neutralize any of the acids. Then I will use a hot air gun. Hairdryer would do okay to then try and dry the tank out. From there, I think I will get the scope out and have a look inside there and see whether I want to do more. It looks like there's some baffles in there. They're quite heavily corroded. It's very, very hard to see them. I don't think it'll come out on camera, but that is a big hole in a baffle, so it kind of looks like a shadow. I don't think it'll come out on the camera, but maybe it will. I don't think there's anything I can do about that. I can't get them out, I can't repair them. I could use some more nasty aggressive acid and etch them. What's it going to bring me? I'm not sure. So at some point I will decide to stop. Can't buy new tanks, and I don't really fancy sort of cutting this tank in half and then re-welding it. So I'm just going to try and clean it as much as I can. See you next time.